allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you call the roll? Ms. Buscemi?
Here.
Ms. Urson?
Here.
Mr. Line?
Here.
Ms. McNair?
Here.
Mr. Shetter?
Here.
Ms. Hewer?
Here.
Ms. Stadler?
Here. Matt, can you review the fire exits?
The exits are in the back of the LGI.
Open to the public. Does anybody have a public comment they would like to make? Seeing none, we will move on to workshops. Our first workshop tonight is JVF. Is that right? So we have our principal here.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hey.
All right. Well, good evening. I am really excited to share all that we've been up to so far this year at Forrestal. The slides tonight are aligned to our district goals and focused areas, and you'll see photos, and there'll be moments where I pause just to kind of speak to what's being shown on the slide if it's a picture. And there's a lot of information on each slide, and I'm going to really go into detail with the items that are in bold or underlined. All right, so first up, just starting with the area of academic excellence and high quality curriculum. This year, our district expanded foundations into third grade, and our school is also a coaching support site where so far we've had 3 rounds of coaching with the Wilson Foundation Specialist. She has been great coming in to work with our teams. She's met with staff over 3 coaching visits so far and has provided a summary and feedback after each visit. I've gotten really good feedback from the teachers. They enjoy working with her, and she also has not limited herself just to K-3. She's recently, at her last coaching visit, supported with our ENL teacher, which was really nice because she has some thoughts about wanting to better support our students who are receiving ENL services and how Foundation's resources can help her in that effort. So that has been wonderful. Some of the other things I really wanted to highlight here are related to the area of math, iReady, and our MTSS. So first, I just want to highlight just the specialist roles, specifically having Nadia and Amy on board. Amy really supporting in the area of literacy and recently providing professional development for teachers in the area of science of reading. And Nadia supporting the math workshop model. I'm going to speak more about that in the other slides. But this has all directly related to the success that we've been seeing with our instructional support teams. Tier 1, focusing on best practices, and really our recurring meeting schedule this year, having a cycle that supports progress monitoring and team collaboration. I'm going to give a couple of examples regarding that and highlight a few other areas, both in the area of ELA and math, but just overall, just so you can get a snapshot of curriculum at the K-5 level. So first, I'm going to start by letting you hear from a student.
This is our small and independent work that's later in the day, and we're getting ready for board 1. Today we have library, that's the day 1 at 9 to 10. My favorite part about science this year is our teachers. I really love social studies because I understand it a lot and we do a lot of fun things in it. And the next after social studies we're reading a book and then next after time. And then next is math. I like math because we're learning multiplication. And we have ELA. ELA we're working on an essay for Rent Party Jazz. And next we have small groups and independent work. And after that, my favorite, lunch and recess. And then today we have dance
So this is Amina. She's one of our fourth graders, and I also had got to have more conversation with her just to get a better idea of like what does your school day mean to you, and in your own words, just talk to me about blank, whether it's ELA, math, morning meeting, and I highlighted on this slide just some of the things that stood out from our conversation. And I really want to also just take a second to pause here because she did make reference to social studies, and she talked about working on an essay for a text that they read, Rent Party Jazz. That is actually directly from our HMH ELA Module 3 unit. So it wasn't like a separate social studies curriculum piece. It's directly from Module 3, and the teachers really have a nice way of tying in areas that would fall under what you focus on in social studies, learning about different people or places or socioeconomic statuses. And she really just went on and on about this text, and she shared with me that it was cool because she learned about New Orleans. She also got to do some more writing. She shared that she learned about people and places, and that their culture and this family's experience navigating a tough time and coming together through jazz to get through their difficulty. So it was just nice to hear her reflect on the text in a really thoughtful way and connect it to both her social studies learning, but the ELA experience. I also did this with, I also got some of this snapshot from a first grader, and I couldn't include both videos here, but I did share some of what stood out from the conversation with one of our first graders. This is Maggie. And similarly, she walked us through her day. She shared like what the different things meant to her. And they did have something in common. They both love lunch or recess, which is great. And Maggie really highlighted a project that they worked on where she and ELA got to write a book, and they wrote about lions. You would be amazed at the amount of writing that our first graders do. It is really awesome. And she opened this book and read it to me, and I got to see her writing. And it's just nice to hear from them and also hear their honest opinion about things too, because when I talked to her, both of them actually, about dismissal, one said, well, I go home, and the other one goes, school days are long. And so I share that just to say we have a really rich curriculum. There's so much that our teachers cover in a day, so much that our students experience, and I think that it goes without saying that everyone is really committed to academic excellence, committed to seeing growth and progress in our learning, and I'd like to capture that by talking a little bit more closely about our school data. So, in the next few slides, I'm going to go over some of our state data, some of our school data, and speak to you more about projected proficiencies for this school year, as well as our areas of for growth, what we have done and continue to do regarding math support, what we're doing around interventions prior to Tier 3, and how through our MTSS structure we are reaching students who are at level 1 and 2. So first, if you look at the top chart, this is our proficiency data from the New York State grade 3 to 5 ELA, and you'll see that ELA proficiency increased across all grade levels, which is wonderful. You'll see that the math results show some targeted growth with variability across the grade levels there. Fourth grade did make some gains. Third grades 3 and 5 slipped a little bit, but we knew going into this year that math would be an area to focus. It's been great to have the support of an additional full-time AIS math teacher. We've already have seen just the changes in how they've been able to work together as a team to continue building on the work here. I want to just highlight a couple of things, and before I do so, it's hard for me to talk about data because while I know it's like very important and it helps inform the work, when I look at this, I think about our students by name, right? So I see this and it's celebratory to see, like, if you think about the gain from fifth grade from 57.9% to 75%, right? I'm still thinking about that 25% of students. So those are students, we're not talking about hundreds of students, we're talking about a small cohort. So the students that are not reflected here, who are not at level 3 or 4, are a handful of students who now, with this data, we can plan more intentionally for, provide like targeted instruction, targeted interventions, and really work with more intention. So that has really been a focus. This really helped to inform what our MTSS and IST meetings look like. And I'm gonna just break it down into 3 areas to share more about what student-driven intentionality has looked like this year in practice. So I kind of broke it into 3 different areas. The first in student engagement and culture. Just knowing this area of math was one that we really needed to address. We wanted to make math learning more visible, more engaging, and one of the things that we've done around student engagement and culture this year was we have a math bulletin board with puzzles that rotate throughout. We have just kind of like excitement around trying to solve those puzzles, and the kids get really excited about it. In grades 3 to 5, right now, we have a fun and friendly math competition going on. And then also just really encouraging like student ownership of learning and having them at the center of our conversations, but also involved in their own learning. This year we piloted student-led caregiver conferences at 2 different grade levels. One of our first grade classes and one of our third grade classes, we reached out to parents and just invited them to have their kid participate in the student-led caregiver conference. And the student attended, played an active role in like speaking about their progress, reflecting on their goal prior to the caregiver conference. And it was nice just to have them involved in that way. One of the other things around just like the student engagement and culture and excitement around math is just having a celebratory aspect of it as well. And right now, and as I mentioned, like the grades 3 to 5 are doing this math Olympics. It's been really fun to just hear them talk about it in their off time and their downtime. And yes, there's a competitive element, but they're also really encouraging and to one another and really focused on reaching their goals. The middle part is where I want to spend a little bit more time in sharing what our MTSS framework within IST has looked like, specifically around our recurring meeting cycles and how it has allowed for progress monitoring and collaboration. So this year, we really just wanted to start the year hitting the ground running. So we started holding our meetings the week of September 8th, and that was focusing on setting goals for students who ended the year qualifying for AIS through the district matrix, and sitting together as a team to set their goals from the beginning of the school year, have a set meeting cycle for when we would come back to the table, what the areas of progress monitoring were going to be for Tier 2A, which is by the teacher in the classroom, and then Tier 2B, which is from pull-out services for AIS. And it was really helpful to do that. I just want to give an example of a particular student. We had a student who qualified for AIS based on the district matrix. At the beginning of the school year, we noticed that they were making steady progress. Throughout our recurring IST meeting schedules, which is held every 6 weeks, the student had met their benchmark goal in December, which was their 3rd IST meeting. And at that point, we were able to make a data-informed decision and discuss it as a team to dismiss that student from Tier 2B. So that student would no longer have pull-out services by the AIS team. However, the classroom teacher would continue to support and progress monitor at Tier 2A, so we can just see it through that ensure that the student was able to sustain the goal over the next 6-week cycle. So over the course of the following 6 weeks, the teacher continued to progress monitor. We came back together as a team, and while the student did make some gains early on, that goal was not sustained. So in real time, we were able to make a quick shift and say, no, we need to come back to the table, reinstate Tier 2B, where they started again with AIS services and pull-out support, and now we're continuing to just keep a close eye on the student. And I really wanted to highlight that because I think this structure, the additional staffing, everyone's commitment has really allowed us to just keep a closer eye on kids, ensure that kids are not slipping through the cracks. And if we see that things need to be adjusted, we can do so in real time. And if people have other ideas to bring to the table based on what they're seeing in the classroom, we can work through that. I'm going to give another example a little bit later on, just on how we're having conversation around student progress. While it is very ELA and math heavy, we are approaching it from a standpoint to always, consider the whole child and what else might be going on. And then also to further support our continued commitment to academic excellence and growth, professional learning and staffing. This year there has been targeted professional development. Amy has provided professional development for teachers aligned to the science of reading, and Nadia has provided a math workshop model, professional development for teachers. There has been really great feedback that has come in from teachers. They both make themselves readily available to get into classrooms, talk with folks, support me, attend an IST meeting, and it's been really nice just to have, their support to build on the work that, Leslie in her prior role had, really made a big commitment to helping to improve our district's MTSS model in her work with Dr. Rudicindo O'Neill. And that has really shown to be true this year in the ways that Amy and Nadia have been able to continue to move the work forward. I'm going to share a little bit of our projected proficiency data, but before I do so, because I'm going to make reference to some iReady terms, I just wanted to share how this all kind of works. So iReady, in the beginning of the year when students take their first diagnostic, iReady sets a stretch growth target for each student. And so their learning is personalized after their first benchmark assessment. And stretch growth is specific to each student. For students who might be below grade level, it is ambitious, but it's also attainable. It helps them to become proficient, and in this case, students may have larger growth benchmarks. Students who are on or above grade level, stretch growth is ambitious but attainable, and really it's a growth level that helps them achieve or maintain advanced proficiency levels. And one thing that I really want to highlight is, while stretch growth is really hard to obtain, I've kind of just looking back at our data over the past couple of years, our students have been able to make and meet stretch growth. And so I wanted to use that to paint a better picture of what the projected proficiencies are. And I do have that kind of side by side or one on top of the other, so you can see if what the projected proficiency is if students meet their stretch growth, and what it is if they don't and they just achieve typical growth. In both scenarios, I think it's important to just highlight what is being shown here. And first, I wanted to start with ELA. So at the top, this is if students achieve stretch growth. There's a projected proficiency of 67%, and this is in the area of ELA for grades 3 to 5. If students achieve typical growth, this projected proficiency is 55% of students at level 3 and 4. In both situations, it's a growth from last year for grades 3 to 5. Similarly for math, and this jump here is pretty big, but I think that it's important to have both scenarios captured, and knowing that math was an area of that we really wanted to focus on this year, I feel really good because this stretch growth, the way it's predicted is based on how students are currently performing, how they did on their beginning of year data, how they're doing on their personalized learning. And so far, what they're projecting is 76% of our students would achieve a level 3 or 4 if they meet their stretch growth. And if they don't and they meet typical growth, then it'd be 56%. Again, both gains and increases compared to year prior. So one of the things that I wanted to highlight, because, you know, the past couple of slides were very like percentage heavy, number heavy. And yes, those things are important. When we are meeting as an instructional support team, or when I'm having a conversation with a parent or a teacher or a related service member, we are not just looking at a student as a data point or as a percentage. I wanted to just paint a picture of some of the things that are considered and taken into account when we discuss student progress. We really, consider if the student's basic needs are being met, including factors that impact their learning, like health, home, and food security. We review attendance patterns and engagement, how they've responded to Tier 1 instruction and behavioral practices, what their classroom data shows, including grades and work samples, how they've performed historically in the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of year assessments, what AIS interventions have been, including the frequency, duration, and progress monitoring, input and consult from related service teams, because again, while a lot of the conversations can be very ELA or math heavy, we have come to the table as a team for a student who may be struggling behaviorally, and that is impacting their learning, not necessarily to the point where we're seeing, major concern in the area of ELA and math, but enough that it is coming up in discussion. We want to kind of brainstorm and work with each other to, review what Tier 1 behavioral practice and support looks like, and what recommendations the related service folks might have to help improve the student's overall learning experience. So this is an area related to some of our district focus around equity and culture of care. I like to refer to it as the heart work, because while all the other things that we talked about are super important and, we need to focus on or reflect on and provide targeted instruction and meet kids where they are, if students do not feel a sense of belonging, if they're not connected, we know that those other things, don't matter or, fall short. So it's really important to us to address this area and to create a sense of belonging. So some of the ways in which we do that: responsive classroom, which has been implemented for the past few years, and Positivity Project. Both of those have supported having shared language. Responsive classroom, I would say a lot of our teachers were trained a few years back, but we've had a lot of new staff, and so I'm looking forward to exploring how we could revisit some professional development for a lot of our new teachers who kind of have just, through resources that are shared between teachers or myself or from the district, taken it upon themselves to kind of learn what it all means and to implement it. But I think that, formal professional development, again, from the responsive classroom group would be great. I want to just share something that, hope this works. We used this year just to kind of, knowing that we had a lot of new teachers who had not had the formal training, we wanted to create like a resource share document, and this is just responsive classroom aligned management strategies. This was compiled in collaboration between myself, our school psychologist, social worker, and they're all aligned directly to the responsive classroom guidance. This one was a lot of good teacher feedback around this. Just a reminder of like use of specific and intentional language. For an example, good job on your math is easy to say, it's quick. I mean, everyone means well when you say things like that, but being more intentional and providing a what and a why. You tried that. You tried several different ways to solve that math problem. That kind of persistence really helps you learn. And so this list goes on. I hyperlinked it here for reference later, but it really helps to just be intentional in our conversations and feedback to students and with students. Positivity Project, which We are in year 2, more like 1.5-ish this year. Last year, we started with having students connected to our focus around vocabulary, and students created Trait of the Week vocabulary cards aligned to the Freyer model. So I just want to show an example of that. So it was updated weekly, and this was in collaboration with Ms. Coleman, our library media specialist. And for an example, this was one of the traits, it was perseverance, and based on like the Freyer model guidance, you give like a definition, an example, a non-example, and a visual. These were some here that our students did. This is another one on social intelligence. Again, just connecting it to our connection on vocabulary. Here's another one. And then the students really, like, they took it upon themselves to come up with the example and the non-examples with the photo. We shared these weekly with the entire school. They were also included in our morning meeting, which was nice. And this year, we kind of just built on that from like the school-wide sharing of the Trait of the Week to class and community connections. There's a photo that I'll speak to just to share how that has come into play this year, but for Veterans Day, around that time, the Trait of the Week was bravery, and our Kindness Club, along with a couple others, helped to organize card making and dropping off items to Castle Point, just thanking veterans for their service and for their bravery. Kindness Club focused on the trait of gratitude, and they made cards for local businesses in Beacon, went out and dropped them off and expressed their thanks and provided some encouragement, which was really nice just to see kids have this idea of one way to connect with the local community. The picture on the bottom with the group of students is from last year, where we, with our 4th grade team, did a big sister, little sister group in collaboration with the Beacon High School girls basketball team. And this year, we kind of, this came about from a conversation in an instructional support team meeting regarding a student who had been struggling behaviorally, and someone had just said, I wish he had a mentor. And while there's not like a formal mentoring program, we reached out to Dr. Dwyer and his team and just said like, hey, this is the situation, this is the student, we really think he would benefit from connecting to someone. And they didn't hesitate, and we were able to get that student connected with a senior who came over weekly, had lunch with our kid, went to recess with them, and we have really seen a complete turnaround. And so it's work like this that really helps students to feel connected, be a part, and it's really nice to have just a connection with Beacon High School there. One of the other things that I want to highlight here is our resource sharing through the Building Equity and Leadership team. In October, which is AAC Awareness Month, we shared resources on different ways that people communicate, how there are students, adults, people that you might see in the community that use an augmented communication device to communicate, and what that means, how everyone communicates in different ways. We shared it out with parents. We shared it internally. Our speech pathologist helped to explain more about that and did some classroom visits. And then last year in April for Autism Acceptance Month, we collaborated with a few parents and did some videos on autism acceptance and awareness, which was really, really cool and meaningful. Honestly, the feedback that came in from the parents is that it was nice to be able to share their own experience in a way that could, raise awareness from others and help to foster their student friendships in the classroom on a day-to-day. One of the other things related to the equity and culture of care work is just parent and caregiver connectedness. This year, through conversation with parents in the PTSO and then others that have reached out just to ask questions about how they can connect with other parents, but really wanted to have some focused conversation on what support looks like, what their student experience looks like in inclusive spaces. We were able to collaborate and form a learning engagement partnership focused on collaborating and building an inclusive space where families, staff, and administrators can engage in open dialogue, share experiences, celebrate progress, and work together to support student success and enhance communication and strengthen inclusive practices to meet the needs of our students at Forrestal. This started November, December-ish. The group has met twice so far. Dr. Chadwell Dennis also attended a PTSO meeting and kind of went over the update from New York State on the special education planning, which was nice, and parents appreciated having that updated information. Also featured here at the bottom, that's just our school social worker holding some backpacks, and I just wanted to highlight just how beautiful it is to be in a community with so many different organizations and individuals who are willing to support. We have a Common Ground Farm backpack program to address like food access, and then also I Am Beacon with supplies and backpacks at the start of the school year was also super helpful. And some photos to kind of give some examples of work as it extends beyond the classroom. In the top photo, top left, we have our music teacher who, during our kindergarten summer kind of welcome orientation, just did like a little responsive classroom style meet and activity. Kindergarten families got to come together and see the space, some of them for the first time because their kid didn't go to pre-K at Forrestal. Some of them, it was just about like connecting with families that your kid was moving up to kindergarten with, and also just making their way through the building and getting comfortable for a big transition. The middle picture is actually the ENL teacher at Forrestal, but also the full ENL team. And I just think that sometimes we, don't always have an opportunity to share about what work looks like in this area of our student demographic. And this picture was just from our annual multicultural family info session where all families across all 6 schools come out for learning about what the ENL program looks like, and then also seeing their student work on display, which was this year kind of themed to last year's connection on being bilingual is my superpower. And the parents also contributed we did like a potluck style contributed dish, and everyone came and enjoyed like food together after the informational session. Moving to the photo on the top right, this is a post in our building from our Kindness Club. Take what you need, leave what you can. Again, all student driven, and there's up here just different, it can be like a smile, a encouraging word, and students or staff can walk through and grab what you need, and then also at the bottom, leave what you can, whether it's an encouraging word to someone else or a nice picture. This is displayed in our middle hallway upstairs in Forrestal, which is an area that everyone passes. Bottom left photo is just some work from our Lunar New Year celebration last year, which we'll be doing again this year. The middle photo is our some of our environmental club and kindness club students working together to put signage around the school. Really big on supporting student voice and their ideas and having their messaging shared throughout the school. And then in the bottom right photo is just some of the work from our ENL students in a celebration from this summer of their learning in a culminating program that we held in partnership with DIA. Okay, school and community engagement. Starting off, I wanted to just highlight a few grants that were awarded. Our music teacher received a grant from the Community Foundation Hudson Valley on new ORF instruments. I've got to see those in use, and the students really enjoy them. Field trip experiences, and our environmental club advisor in partnership with Land to Learn received a garden grant, and so that was through Dutchess County. We're adding to the garden. There also is going to be a garden-themed mural added to the side of our building this coming spring, which is really nice. Additionally, around school community engagement, the things that are listed here really just show how we're engaging various stakeholder groups. The Sunshine Committee is a group that's just focused on bringing some fun and liveliness to staff celebratory things, or even if it's like a staff breakfast and lunch. Sometimes in partnership with the PTSO, sometimes just like completely building led. I spoke to the P2 Positivity Project Community Connections. I also want to highlight something that we held this summer in partnership with the PTSO. Sensory Overload is a film that a team of folks from Forest Hill learned about from one of our parents, and they really had the idea of trying to offer an opportunity to watch the film, but also reflect on it and have intentional conversation around what this means for our spaces. And so we were able to screen the film this summer, and 4 of our staff members helped to lead a kind of breakout session style evening afterwards. And, you know, the parents that attended, some of them came into it already having information about the world around us and what what it means to be like sensory sensitive, and how that transfers to what we want our classroom and school spaces to look like. And then others didn't, so it was a nice range of conversation. We also had a few community organizations in the Allen Public Library as well come and just share some titles with staff and with the attendees on this area of learning. And then this year, we're just building on that with something that we're looking forward to in the spring with Parents as Partners. And additionally, just building on like our school engagement. This year, we'll have our 8th annual Black History Month Gallery Walk. This is an opportunity where usually each year we do like a different theme. For last year and this year, we focused on connecting it to just local trailblazers, starting with Beacon, but then broadening into just like Dutchess County, the Hudson Valley region, state of New York, and building from there. But celebrating those who have made contributions to the betterment of their community, and the students learn about them. They create artwork, or they do reflective writing, and our school is kind of turned into a gallery where all of this work is displayed. And at the end of the month, it's actually on February 23rd this year, I believe, at 6 o'clock. So you're welcome to come out. And everyone walks through the building, and we have the opportunity to see all the work that the kids did. And the kids like to lead their parents and family members through that, which is really nice. Some of the other things just bolded here: student council. Our student groups have really been super involved, super vocal. They love sharing their ideas. They love, bringing forward things that they question or have, thought about whether or not it's a problem that they're trying to work through. And they come with solutions. Like, they're learning that in this early age. And our 5th grade group recently, I believe, reached out to you all. I know they wanted to connect with the board and have you guys like come out and visit Forest Hill and talk about what it means to be a board member, and share with you what it means to them to be a 5th grade student council member. So it's just nice to see them, be engaged in the school community in that way. This week, actually on Friday, we have our I Love JVF Pep Rally, which is spearheaded by our cheer club. It's really fun. The cheer club gets to perform, but also the school comes together, and we do a jump rope competition aligned to Healthy Heart. We hold it in our gym. Everyone's there, pre-K through 5th grade. Everyone's in their JVF red, and it's just a nice way to come and have some camaraderie as a school. And lastly, as it relates to our student engagement, I wanted to just highlight our clubs and activities. We have over 20 different clubs that are offered. A couple of new clubs this year: Cursive Club, Connect Skateboarding, Black Student Union Junior, Compass Arts offered a new programming this year. They did a performing poetry offering, which was really nice, and Students got to learn about writing poetry and seeing poetry as an art form. At the end, we kind of turned the library into a spoken word cafe. Parents came out, we had some snacks, and students got to read their poetry. This is also the 4th year in our school podcast, The Falcon's Nest, which is really nice. The episodes are linked there, so if you're ever just driving or want to listen to something, check it out. The kids are really serious about this. So you walk into the library after school on podcast day, and it's like one of those scenes where, you know, I don't know, referencing like a movie here, like Wolf on Wall Street, where it's all the cubicles and the busyness and it's loud and everyone's planning. That's what they're doing. They're really excited about what they have to speak about, and student-led, very organized, and their episodes are really engaging. Also, our 4th year in our Creative Strings program, which is our partnership with local violinist Gwen Laster. There are going to be some photos here in a minute that I can show you some of what the other clubs have done this year, but I also want to point out just the top left photo. This year was our first year participating in the Rollout Beacon printmaking project with Lauren Edelman and the Rollout Beacon group through a connection with South Avenue, which is really nice to come together as 2 schools and see our 5th graders get really excited about the entire Beacon community coming out, seeing their work being steamrolled. In the middle photo, this was when our Kindness Club students dropped off their cards to local businesses in Main Street. We have here just one of our assemblies, which our kiddos love. This was a winter concert one. They got to hear the Beacon High School chorus perform, and then our own chorus performed. Down here we have chess club, pickleball, and then this is a recent photo in the bottom right corner for our students pledging for their math Olympics, the grade 3 to 5 reflex math competition that I referenced. At the bottom left, this is one of our events held in the beginning, well, in the fall of the school year. It's the Walk, Bike, Roll to School event. Our PE teacher, Ms. Jock, really helped to lead that, and it was a wonderful turnout. That was in partnership with the Beacon Bicycle Coalition. At the bottom right, that was some of the art that was dropped off to Castle Point for Veterans Day. Top right, our student violinist in the Creative Strings program. Again, year 4 of that program, great feedback from teachers, from students, from parents, and it's nice to see some students who had like no interest or no background in violin or strings really be engaged in this program, and at the end to get to perform for their families. And then lastly, that was some of the artwork that the students worked on collaboratively last year for our Black History Month gallery walk, and they're doing a similar project this year. So there's really a lot going on, a lot to put into one presentation, but I tried to capture different pockets of things, both related to academic data, the heart work around culture of care, and then also the student, school, and community engagement part. So I appreciate all of you, and I thank you for being on this journey with us, and the opportunity for questions if you have any.
Thank you so much. That was great. I did want to mention that I was really impressed with the student council members reaching out, and they had some great sample questions, and I think that's going to be a really good conversation. So yeah, you should let them know.
Okay, thank you.
But did anybody else have any questions on the information presented?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we are going to get a presentation on our athletics sphere. Mr. Carafano.
Good evening, everybody. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to the Board of Ed for entrusting me with this position. I've had a fantastic time in my first 7+ months, so thank you, and as well to district and building and leadership for your support and any conversations or new ideas that we may have. So I just want to, start off by saying thank you. But yeah, we're going to get started. I'm Michael Carafon, Director of Phys Ed Athletics, Health and Rec. We're just going to kind of go through all the aspects of our programs. So first off, probably the best award you can get. This is probably Mr. Giametta's award, but I'll give him credit. We were one of 7 schools in Section 9 to earn the New York State School of Excellence Award for our varsity team's academic achievement last school year. So you'll see this was a picture on the bottom left. We received the award, a couple other really big schools, well-known schools, and I believe this is the first time we've received this award. We have received the School of Excellence Award, but this award here, the School of Distinction, is a little bit higher than that. So right now that's proudly displayed in our athletics office. So definitely a really great award to have. Right now, this school year, our fall 2025 Scholar Athlete teams from this past fall season, we had girls cross country, boys cross country, boys soccer, girls swimming, girls tennis, and girls volleyball. And kind of spread throughout this whole presentation, I put in different pictures, tried to highlight different areas that we have in athletics. Tried to get the Bulldog a little bit more involved in games, as you can see, coming to our volleyball games. Really cool picture on the bottom right. The fog game, we were calling it, for the girls soccer team. And then we had a really nice showing at the meet. This was 2 weeks ago for boys swimming down there at the bottom left. Some fall 2025 accomplishments. Our boys varsity soccer team were division champs yet again, and they were also the Section 9 Class A finalists. So we got to the championship game. Unfortunately, lost to New Paltz. It was a really great game. We ended up coming back, scored some really dramatic goals, but unfortunately we weren't able to win, but certainly a big accomplishment. Our girls varsity soccer team, again, division champs. We were the Class A semifinalists. We lost to Lourdes at home in overtime, but it was a fantastic game, really good girls high school soccer game. Our varsity volleyball team were Class A quarterfinalists. We had a pretty good year. Varsity girls cross country, Chloe Gessel came in second in the sectional championships. Then she went up to the state meet. That's the only public schools. That was at Queensbury High School. She came in 34th. And then because of her place finish there, she was then invited to the Federation meet. That was at Bodwin Park. And that's for all schools, public, private, and parochial. And she came 79th out of 295 runners in her class. So certainly a really good accomplishment. And here we are on that top picture, Chloe, Coach Frick, and myself. That was after her race. She actually was going to do a cool down run of 4 miles after. So really impressive that she's doing that. JV girls soccer, we do have increasing numbers in girls soccer. So we did have a JV girls soccer team, which I believe we haven't had in about 2 years. So that was really good to see. Coach Tobin stepped up and did the JV girls soccer team. And then we had a unified bocce program, unified bocce team. This is the first time that we had that in Beacon history. And that's going to lead us into our current winter accomplishments. So varsity boys track and field, they were named the 25-26 Division III champions. And going to some of the meets at West Point, really great atmosphere. There also was a lot of PRs for the boys team and the girls team. So that's really been great to see. I haven't been to West Point to see a track meet in a few years, so I've really enjoyed my time doing that. Varsity boys basketball, we're currently 13-1 and ranked 3rd in the New York State Class A rankings. So far, they've had a really great year, playing well, so I'm really excited for them. Varsity girls basketball, we're currently 8-6, and they are an honorable mention in the New York State Class A rankings. So awesome job by them. Obviously, having a new coach after so many years, and a new system and a new mindset, it's been really great to see how they've been playing. Varsity wrestling came in third in their annual Bulldog tournament. That was, we had 9 schools here this year, so they came in third. And Caleb Smith, he's the one who's holding up 2 plaques in the all gray. He was named the most outstanding wrestler for the whole tournament. Varsity cheerleading, we now have varsity cheerleading at both girls and boys games. I really kind of wanted to get them into girls games this year, and it's kind of, brought some more positivity into the gym. Being that I had to submit this on Friday afternoon, we do have another accomplishment. Our varsity boys swimming team, the 200-yard freestyle relay team, medaled for the first time in at least 5 years. So that should have been added. And also, we have 5 members of our team who qualified for sectionals, and 4 of those 5 qualified for multiple events in sectionals that are going to be coming up next weekend. So really good job by the boys swimming team. Unified Athletics, as you'll see here on the left, a new banner in our gym, the biggest banner we have, and I'm very proud to have it. We are a unified champion school, as noted by the Special Olympics. We are expanding our unified athletics program. I was able to work with Dr. Chadwell Dennis. We now have middle school students on our unified team. So we do have more unified athletes than we have had. And again, as noted before, we have 3 seasons of unified. In the fall, we have bocce. In the winter, we have bowling, so right now. And in the spring, we have basketball. If you have not been to a unified meet, it doesn't matter what the sport, it is just a really awesome time. We have our parents involved. We have our student helpers involved. And it's just a really good, positive experience, whether it's bocce, whether it's bowling at the bowling alley, or what I'm excited to also see in the spring is basketball. So if you do have a moment, please come check out one of those games. And again, new banner proudly displayed in our gym. And here on the bottom right was a picture from one of our bocce meets. You'll see we got the Bulldog there too. And we had a really great time. Again, the parents they were on the field. They were playing as well. We had a few bocce lanes. We had the music playing. And we also had an announcer. So it was a really good experience for our unified athletes. We do have a highlight video. This is made by Mr. Gersh, who's a retired Beacon High School teacher. And this is a compilation video of some highlights from last school year as well as this school year.
Unified sports are a way for students of all different abilities in Beacon High School to participate together in the sports that we have here. We have basketball and bowling at the moment, soon to be bocce as well. There's students of all different abilities, but it's a way for us to bring a school atmosphere together here at Beacon High School.
We play against other schools throughout Dutchess County. What it would look like is we usually have 3 of our athletes and 2 of our partners on a bowling lane, and they would compete against another school. In basketball, we would have 3 to 4 of our athletes and then 1 of our partners to compete against another school. This is a great way for our students in our school and our community to partner together and see that we have such a diverse learning in our building.
So the number one thing for me that I was most impressed with when we started doing the unified sports was the way in which our general education students, the partners, were able to interact with the unified athletes. Our students and our partners that we have here have done a fantastic job of kind of making everybody feel included and being inclusive in the atmospheres that we have.
just helping them out, you know, to do whatever they want, like to be there for them, to help them, if it's on or off the court, just to know, like to walk around the hallways and know their names and just like give them a pound.
They're helpful, they engage with them, they communicate with them, and that's, you know, it's touching to see. It makes you kind of emotional when you do see it happen, because, you know, we don't tell them what to do. We just kind of give them opportunities, and they react how they react, and the students have done a fantastic job of that.
I remember one time, a lot of us didn't go to the bowling match, and Mullins told us the next day that they got on the bus and they were like, "Where's everyone at? Like, where are our helpers at?" and all that stuff. And like in that moment, I was like, wow, like we really like do make a difference in like their lives and like what they do.
It gives me more friendship, and like I could grow a bond with the kids on the unified team, and it just makes me feel good about myself. Like I'm doing something good to help others.
We just have some really great athletes who participate, and then, like I said, the helpers have been nothing but great, and I think they're really enjoying themselves.
I like how we run back and forth with the basketball, passing and bowling, just like roll the ball to the ends. It was just a lot. I like a lot of it. It was really good and okay. I love it.
Like I hit in the hoop and I catch it with my hand and I got it. Flow together.
For bowling, I had a great day actually though. I went to score points to me 100 to 200. For basketball, it's been being fun and I like to do more of the defense.
So bocce ball we finally got this year.
During bocce, you have to throw the ball into a little small ball, and you have to take turns.
I would say one of our better unified experiences because the kids are growing and they're getting better at the actual sport. And it's outside. You have at each match there's usually 3 teams, which allows more interaction between all the students from different schools.
It's not so much the competition, but it's just the point of being involved. It provides a sense of normalcy, being a part of a team, and it just enhances her whole high school experience.
I think it's a good opportunity for her to develop her social skills and to attempt to be more outgoing and make friends outside of, just the containment of her regular classroom.
Now she really wants to go out with and be more around people. She was a little shy about that before, but now she kind of knows how to relate and be around other people, work with other people. She's good. It really helps her open up.
It's a wonderful thing because this is something that keeps her active. It makes her positive. She understands how to deal with people more often, and she's just a better person.
It brings more joy into me to see them go out there and have fun and actually enjoy and smile and laugh and joke around and everything. And it's just something beautiful. Like, it brings so much joy to me to see them do that.
I'm going to have to definitely become a lifelong fan of unified sports, just to be out and cheer and be a part of it.
I get joy, like it really does make me feel good and stuff, and it's not about me anyway, it's all about the kids and just the smiles they have after they get like a spare or something, it's just amazing.
And thank you so much for choosing the unified events. This is me, Avid, sign off.
Again, yeah, so thank you to Mr. Gersh for putting that together. And if you haven't been to an event, I really would love to invite you and have you come. It's just, it's a low pressure, positive, happy atmosphere. And it's just a really great program. Mr. Mullins, right, has kids now who high school kids now coming up to him asking him if they can volunteer to be a helper, right? So you're getting more input from kids as well at the high school level who see the importance of unified athletics. So it's been a great program, and we hope to continue to build upon that. Moving on, one of the things I wanted to focus on was some increased communication from the athletics department. Mr. Giametta did a really good job of using Twitter to communicate to the community. Through talking with Dr. Dwyer and just noticing how much people use Instagram now, we've kind of got away from Twitter or X and gone to Instagram. So we do have a Beacon Athletics Instagram account. We also have a Beacon Athletics Facebook account. One of the things I did want to start was doing a Beacon Athletics sideline report. It's a monthly newsletter sent to the community. It hasn't gotten as many views as I would like, but I'm going to keep sending it. And hopefully that catches on. And then another thing was to introduce a modified only parent guardian athletics information night. So we do have a varsity and JV athletics information night, but I did want to just create one just for modified parents. That being that, if you do have a student who's interested in participating in athletics that is in 7th grade or 8th grade, right? You as a parent this might be your first time going through it, and there is a lot of information that is new and that you might have questions about. So to have just that modified only informational night, I found was really beneficial, so that we can just focus on the modified program and any questions that those specific parents may have that the parents at the JV and varsity level who are kind of seasoned in those areas might not have. So. That was, we've done 2 of them so far for fall and winter, and we'll be doing that again in the springtime. You'll see here a picture from our student section. Really great showing this was our homecoming game, and we estimated about 3,000 people came to that game. We ran out of seating, and we had people lined up around the outside of the fence. So we had a really great turnout for that homecoming varsity football game. Some community involvement. The Girls in Sports Day 2025, that was obviously spearheaded by Mr. Giametta and Miss Biordi. They passed it on to myself and Miss Benson. So we were the chair people for Girls in Sports Day of 2025. It was a really great day. That's the picture there all the way to the right. We had the most attendees yet. One change we did make, which was a really big hit, we did not have the guest speaker come at lunchtime. Instead of having the guest speaker, we did have more involvement from the cheerleading team. They were able to do hair braiding and face painting and all those good things, bracelet making. So that was a really, really big hit until the girls who figured out that they can't swim now because they have gel and sparkles in their hair. We didn't want them to go into the pool, but that was a really big hit. Spirit of Beacon Parade down there on the bottom left. We had good showing from a few of our fall sports teams. Beacon Athletics Hall of Fame, which we'll talk about in the next slide. And then a couple things that we've also done with our teams. The girls and boys varsity basketball teams have both gone to South Avenue. The boys as recently as last Friday to read to some elementary school classes. The boys varsity basketball team also volunteered at the Beacon Elks Club for their Beacon Housing Authority holiday dinner. One of the players dressed up as Santa. And the varsity football team really wanted to get down to Beacon Youth Football. So they were down there weekly working with our student athletes. And we've actually received a few emails from parents from the Beacon Youth Football program who were, extending their thanks for having our players and coaches down there. Our varsity cheer team works at Forestville as well with the cheer club, and we're going to be inviting them up for one of the senior nights for basketball so they can do their performance there as well. Beacon Athletics Hall of Fame induction 2025. This was at St. Rocco's on January 9th. We had our largest induction class to date. So we had the 2017-2019 girls bowling team, DJ DeCandia, Addie Rutkowski, Kathleen Davis, Kevin Davis, Paige Baisley, Selena Virtuoso, and Coach Bobby Atwell. Really great night. Had a lot of people, had almost 100 people there. So we were really excited to induct, one team and 7 individuals into the Hall of Fame. So we're going to look to continue doing that program as well. Our phys ed and health professional development, we sent all of our staff, phys ed and health, to Westchester Community College for the New York State AFERT Southeastern Zone Conference in November. They had a really good time. They learned a lot. They did a lot of different activities that they have brought into the classroom. Feedback was that it was a really good experience, and they hope to go back again next year. I did ask each department to kind of send me a snapshot of what they're doing, what they're looking forward to, and any highlights as well from their programs. So our Beacon High School phys ed highlights, number 1 were some of the field trips that they are doing and plan to be doing. So they do go kayaking, they do go hiking, they have, and this year they're going to the ropes course. So Rombout, we had sent our 6th graders to the ropes course down at SUNY Purchase. They're going to look to do the same thing this year with their phys ed students at the high school. Last year they hosted a badminton tournament. They had over 100 students sign up, so they are going to continue to do that again this year. PE Students of the Month, that's a really big hit, so they continue doing that. And the weight room. They utilize the weight room really well in their PE classes. 2 students did a civic seal project last year in the weight room and received funds to get new equipment. We do have the nice new squat racks in there and a couple new bars, so it is constantly getting updated. So it is really good equipment as well, and that's being used by not only our students in phys ed, but also our athletes after school with Coach Mullins. Beacon High School health education. Our health teachers at both the high school and the middle school are introducing a new curriculum this year. They felt that they wanted to transition to something new. I supported them. So I kind of wanted some feedback and to share with you what they think is going on with it, what they like about it, and then also some examples of some positive lessons that they have done. So Miss Mills, the Beacon High School health teacher, really enjoys the new curriculum as it has an anticipated structure in the classroom. Everything's really easily accessible. In my observation of her, the lesson was really great. It was on the labels on food labels and trying to decipher healthy and not healthy. So that was a really good lesson. On the right are 2 photos from the drug unit final project. Students were asked to make art representing what the addiction stage of drug use would look or feel like. So it's pretty cool to see what their interpretation is on art to try to figure out, what it does feel like as addiction. So they did have a fun drawing, making art, and she does really enjoy the new curriculum. RMS Phys Ed highlights. For the fall, hiking, swimming field trip with grades 6 through 8, and the Turkey Bowl tournament. In the winter, bowling field trip for grades 6 through 8. In the spring, they had the March Madness tournament, swimming/movie field trip, and field day at Beacon High School for all grades. And throughout the year is Friday morning intramurals and PE Student of the Month. So the pictures you'll see on the top left, that is from Friday morning intramurals with Ms. Tobin. On the top right, obviously that's hiking up to the fire tower. And that bottom picture is from the Turkey Bowl tournament, which is the flag football co-ed tournament held on the turf in the fall. RMS Health Education. Again, Ms. Modica really does like the new curriculum as well. She finds it very informative, versatile, and challenging to meet the needs of all students. The lessons stood out to me because both of them provided students with the opportunity to use their personal thoughts and beliefs to complete the assignment. On the right, this is the emotion wheel. So the emotion wheel focused on students identifying and expressing their emotions in a healthy way. The food grouping activity gave students the time to think about how the food they will eat impact their overall health. That was another popular lesson that she liked. She wanted to include it. This year, we had the school nurse come to my class to speak to the students about the benefits of sleep. For future initiatives, Ms. Modica plans to have Grace Smithhouse come to present to classes during their relationships unit. Elementary phys ed highlights. Back at the opening day of school, when I met with the phys ed staff, I really wanted the elementary PE teachers to focus on collaboration, to make sure that we are across the board, all four elementary schools doing the same units. They don't have to be the same cookie cutter lessons. We would want to make sure that we're reaching all the students and giving them the same units throughout. And they have been doing a really good job at that. They also do some collaboration with field trips as well, utilizing different places in our community. All schools swim at Beacon High School. All students plan to go bowling this winter. All schools plan to go to disc golf in the spring, and also a joint 5th grade field day up here at the turf. A couple pictures here, bottom left, that's Miss Jocks at Forrestal, doing the traditional activity there. I remember doing that in elementary school as well. The next picture, Miss Rosino sent. This is something new that she introduced this year. It's called the Impossible Shot. A chance for 1 or 2 students at the end of each class to get a ball into the top of that small hole. That's why it's impossible. She does have a few kids that have done it. The next picture is a picture from one of our elementary swim lessons that the school went to at high school. And the right is Mr. Van Voorst and Miss Green bringing their students to spins for the bowling field trip. You may know this person. So, New York State Public High School Athletic Association Student Leadership Conference, junior Chloe Franklin was selected as one of 12 students from Section 9, that's our section for New York State sports, to attend this conference in Albany in April. So we're really happy that Chloe applied to go and was also selected. She's going to be, hopefully, I believe she's going, with 12 other students again and chaperones that is organized by Section 9 to go up to this conference to learn about student leadership and athletics. I just wanted to show you the conference schedule and some of the different breakout sessions that Chloe will be going to. I can't wait for her to go and then touch base with her afterwards to listen about how it all went. So certainly going to be a lot of students there from across New York State, but definitely really excited to have Chloe go. This year's athletic program participation, just wanted to break it down here. So fall participation totals, girls and boys. In the 2024 fall season, we had 402 students participate. In this fall, we had 407, so an increase of 5 students. That broken down on the left-hand side, the girls for this fall season, there were 11 less. The boys, there were 16 more. In this current winter, on the top right, you'll see last year we had 284 students in the winter. This year we had 307, so an increase of 23. And then broken down on the bottom left, last year our girls' participation was 115. This year we're 4 higher, and our boys are 19 higher than it was last year. Our participation rates, so the enrollment, Beacon High School 824, Rombout 382, that's for 7th and 8th graders, not 6th graders. That equals 1,206. Number of fall 2025 athletes, 407. That means in the fall, we had 33.7% of enrolled students. That was a 0.7 increase from last year. And winter, we had 307 students. That was a 2.4% increase from the previous year. So it's great to see that overall, more students are participating in athletics. Just wanted to do some recommended budget items here. So our coaching stipends, an increase of $3,000. There is a potential to add a new position. It could go in a couple different directions, whether if we decide to add, because our unified athletic program is increasing, to add an additional position there, or the numbers for cheerleading are also increasing. So there is potential to add a JV cheerleading team. So there is areas where we might need an additional coaching stipend. Equipment, that is the big ticket item. There are a couple items that we do need. Number one is cheerleading mats. Our cheerleaders currently practice in the Beacon High School cafeteria, and our modified cheerleaders practice in the Rombout cafeteria. So we do need to give them and get them new and updated and safe mats to participate on. Aquatics equipment, New York State is now requiring starting ledges that go in the pool. They run at about $400 a piece, max $500 a piece, and we have 6 lanes. So we do need to purchase them. The next one is a scores table at Beacon High School. The one we currently have is functional. It is old though. It is showing some of its age. It does have the old Beacon colors on it, and it does work. So it's not that like we would get rid of it. Rombout Middle School currently does not have a scores table for athletics, so that one would be repurposed down at Rombout. I think it will look really nice down there instead of just a folding table. And then we would hopefully get a new scores table at the high school. And then wall pads for the wrestling room. So the auxiliary gym at Rombout has been transformed into the wrestling room. The wrestling room used to be up at the high school, but we have moved them down to Rombout. We actually got a really great donation from Pine Bush Central School District, who had a company sent them the wrong wall pads. They were really nice to give them to us for no charge. So we were able to do 2 of the 4 walls for no cost. So we are looking to completely have wall pads on all of the 4 walls for the safety of our kids. Athletic supplies. Currently right now, we buy t-shirts every season for our unified athletes. I really would like to get a set of uniforms for each season for them. And school spirit supplies. Some of our signs and banners that we use outside are getting a little bit older, so it would be nice to replace those as well. PE supplies. The phys ed supplies are just getting really expensive from the companies that we use. Just for example, like a 12-pack of yarn balls are over $100. So we're looking to just give a little bit extra to the schools to use to buy the supplies that they need for the classroom. And for BOCES, our Section 9 dues are increasing next year. So we do need to increase that a little bit as well if possible. So this is kind of broken down from what we have this year compared to hopefully what we can have next year. So it would be an increase of 30,000 from those different areas that we just explained. The community services, equipment and supplies, those that money is used for the pool, for the weight room, and for supplies for the athletic trainer. We're not asking for anything there. Again, we are going to be using the money to completely continue to update the weight room. But again, that's what that line is for. I just wanted to let you know. And looking ahead, so this year, a couple different things that we're going to be doing and continuing is the college athletic commitment ceremony. Chloe met with Dr. Dwyer and I last week, and she wanted to give some ideas. So it was great to listen to student voice about how we can improve the college athletic commitment ceremony. It's actually really impressive because she's a junior. So even if she decides to participate in athletics in college, this really wouldn't even affect her this year. So it was really impressive to see her come in, and we're going to certainly take some of the things that she wants to do and incorporate them this year. The varsity awards ceremony is a big night. JV ice cream party, that's for the JV team's awards, and the capital project. That's going to be really exciting to happen this late spring and summer. Our tennis courts are getting redone. Our baseball and softball fields as well, they're going to turf, which will be great. So we're really looking forward to those projects. And just some future thoughts and ideas. This is in no particular order, but number one, we're bleachers on the opposite side of the turf. That would be for visiting spectators. Currently, when we host athletic events at the turf, we do have the one side of the bleachers. One half is for visitors, one half's for home. But when you have a night like we do have at homecoming and our bigger events there, we do run out of space. So if there was a space on the opposite side, like many schools have for visitors, that would be really great for our home fans to have their own space. PE electives at the high school, I know that's something that Mr. Giametta as well wanted to try to incorporate. And talking with Mr. Mullins, our phys ed coordinator, he would like to start introducing that as well. Intramurals at the high school. This was actually an idea brought up to Dr. Dwyer and myself from a student. They said that there's intramurals at the elementary school and there's intramurals at Rombout. Can we have intramurals here? So I think that, it's definitely doable, and we would just have to coordinate with that. Updates to the Rombout gym. Again, the Rombout gym is just a little bit older, and we do have a lot of sporting events there, so, perhaps some updates there. Expanding health education in Rombout and the elementary schools. Right now, bless you. Right now we have health education in 8th grade, but if we were to expand that into 7th or 6th grade, I think that'd be really great. And as well as just, your basic health education in the elementary schools. Again, doesn't have to be next year, but in a couple of years would be nice to see. Continue to expand the weight room training. Mr. Mullins is in there every day after school. He opens a weight room to students who just want to go work out, or he does welcome athletic teams. So we have had the football team in there a lot. We have had the girls basketball team, boys basketball, girls soccer teams. They're all using the weight room after school. So we want to continue to expand that and give the resources there, since it is in quite a lot of use. And again, 2 teams that we are considering. One would be JV cheerleading. We did have the possibility of doing that in the fall. In the winter, we did have a little bit less cheerleaders, so we wouldn't really have the JV cheerleading team in the winter. And then girls flag football. This is a new and upcoming and expanding sport in New York State. They do have a lot of girls varsity flag football teams in local schools, and they're also expanding it to the modified level now as well. So it would be a nice addition. However, again, adding in another sport would take away from other sports, where we do have our female athletes participating in. But again, it is something to consider. But those are my future thoughts and ideas. Again, thank you for listening and for, again, entrusting me with the department. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you so much for this presentation. There's a lot in here that I really appreciate. I appreciate you building on John's work to communicate more with parents. And as somebody who needs a lot of information about sports, because it's all kind of new to me, the athletics department, and who doesn't have social media, I am reading your emails that you're sending, so
Thank you.
Please keep sending them. I'm one of those people. And I love the opportunity that you're giving Unified athletes and also other student athletes to come together and have this really positive experience. Like that's such a great thing to see in the district. And I had something else that I was really excited about. I forgot it. Oh, the expanded health education.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really am glad to see that as well. I think these are all positive things, and I love seeing all this reflected here. And also the community engagement. That was the other thing, that you're talking about how athletes are doing things like within the community that are not necessarily about like winning a game, but about sort of being good citizens. And
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's it from me. Anybody else?
Actually, I have.
Yeah, of course.
Is there any way, I'm not saying next year, but in the coming years, where we can have transportation for students who can't get a ride home, get like a bus for after practices to take them home, like after a practice?
Yeah, I've never thought, that's a really great idea. Never thought about that. Certainly something that we can look into. I've had to coordinate with Dr. Dwyer, Mr. Soltish, and transportation, but really great idea. Could certainly look into it. Thank you.
Mike, do we have any electives in PE presently, or no?
Presently, we do not. We do have, would be the athletic training class. Obviously, it's not a phys ed elective, but it's, in the same kind of realm that Mr. Sabatel teaches. But we currently do not.
Are there any how many schools around us have girls flag football? I know some of the larger ones do. Are there A's and double A's that have? I mean, I know it may not even be broken into A, double A because of
Yeah.
limited number of teams that play, but are there teams that have the girls flag football around here?
Yeah, there are teams that have girls flag football around. And again, more teams have it this year than they did last year, which is great to see. We do have interest here in Beacon. There is a girls flag football club. They just play as a club. It's run by, I believe, Mr. Steltz and Miss Hadeland. So there is interest from our students. Again, but just to implement that as a varsity sport, again, would take away, right? This may be the first year in a couple years that we are having a varsity girls lacrosse team. So where we have low numbers in there, you're going to take some kids away from that. Our numbers right now are low in softball, so you would take away kids from that. You would take away probably some kids from track and field. So in two sports, lacrosse and softball, where we already have low numbers, to add another sport in and take those kids away, obviously would impact those programs. So it's always great to say, hey, we have another program, we have another team, but kind of at what expense? So we really got to try to look at it more and balance it out and see what we can do. But there are local schools that have it. Newburgh across the bridge, I believe Wallkill has it. Burke Catholic added a team. So there are some schools larger than us and the same size that do have the team.
Piper, I love your idea, and it's something that we've talked about before, and it's always, I think, balancing the budget and the availability of the buses. But I think it would be interesting maybe if we could survey the students and see if there are students that would be participating if they had transportation, and just understand, because there's obviously, I'd love to see the numbers continue to grow in terms of participation, and if that's like a barrier for a large number of students, maybe we can prioritize it and try to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, I can start a survey.
Okay.
I think that the one challenge I could see happening is that a lot of our teams just practice at so many different times.
Yeah.
Right. And so many, it'd be great to say, hey, we have a 5 o'clock bus to transport athletes home. But then, boys soccer is, they practice from 6 to 8 at night. And then, in the winter time, the Beacon High School gym is full until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So although it's a great idea, I'm just trying to, spitball some challenges that we may face. And, it'd be great to get those teams that practice and end before 5 o'clock home, if that would be the time. But then, I'm not sure that we can serve those students at night.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But I do think there's a lot of teams that finish like around 5. And so maybe we could at least address one group to start.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
know the buses
for
are
sure.
really challenging. I mean, we have bus driver shortage, all of the things. I know that's not easy, but I feel like it is probably a very big barrier to participation for a lot of kids. And so it'd be great if we could at least understand what we would be gaining if we could. do it.
Absolutely.
Or even if we started maybe at the middle school level, or even tried to combine a middle school, high school run where you did a pickup, where you're combining. I know it's not the best to combine a 7th and a 10th, but, you might be able to do like a, pick up at both schools or something just because we're so close. I agree with you. I think it's a great question, because I do think it limits certain students from not being able to participate. So.
Great presentation. Thank you. Ryan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. So I want to do a switcheroo in the agenda, and before we go to executive session, we can hear from our student representatives. So, Aaron, you want to start?
I just wanted to say that I liked JV Forstals, how they're starting to include more kids into their system. It allows more community building and all that stuff, and how like doing all this can lead to a better generation of people who who contribute to a community, especially. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Okay, Piper, you want to say that?
I really enjoyed Forrestal's presentation. I went there myself, and we didn't have any clubs or extracurriculars when I went there. We had like very, very few, and I love to see the growth of extracurriculars and involvement in the school.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so now can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session to review the employment history of a particular individual?
Can you add something to the exact thing that we're also meeting with our attorney to discuss? We say the specific unit, right? To discuss negotiations with the Beacon Teachers Association.
And to meet with our lawyer to discuss negotiations with the Beacon Teachers Association.
So moved.
Moved by everyone. Second?
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Passes 7-0. We are back. Matt, your superintendent's report?
Yeah, I'll be pretty quick. I just want to talk about, just give a little flow to the next meeting or two at the board level. So we're meeting on a different night than usual, Friday or Thursday, February 19th. We'll have our last school presentation at that meeting. Cassandra Orser will talk about Glenham. And then Anne Marie will present the tax cap number, and we'll get into that. We're also going to get into the UPK budget. We have the Audit Finance Committee meeting the night before, February 18th. One of the things we're talking about that night is the senior tax exemption, which is an option for us. So we're going to talk about the committee level, but then bring that to the board meeting on the 19th, because if we wanted to do something about that, we would need to decide that evening, because it needs to be done by March 1st. So, but we'll give you we'll give both the committee and the whole board like whatever background information ahead of that, probably early next week sometime. And then in March, the 2 March meetings, we're going to get it more into, we do have a facilities budget, but we'll be getting into the instructional and PPS side of things. One of our main focus areas for our budget preparation is addressing scheduling and class offerings at Roundabout. So we do need a little time to develop that. I think Roundabout's schedule currently is unique as compared with a lot of other middle schools in the area. They run a lot of their courses on like an every other day basis instead of like by a quarterly type thing. So we want to, when we present that at some point in March, we'll talk about like what the current schedule has and then what a new schedule might be able to offer in terms of more electives, also greater access to AIS services for students, more options, probably health class as an example, like in 6th grade along with 8th grade, just things like that. So that's a huge focus area for us, is addressing that. I think we feel pretty optimistic with even just the governor's budget proposal that we can do that. It would involve some additional staffing. Again, we'll be talking about that in March. I just want to preview that. And just quickly, a quick shout. It's been a part of my superintendent weekly update. The BHS and Roundabout PTOs are hosting the Harlem Wizards on Friday night, and I'll probably send out like kind of a specific email. I know there's flyers going home this week. I know they'd love to sell more tickets. And I have great memories of when my son was much younger. I think he was like in 1st grade. It was the first time, at least when I was here, they had it. And it's really fun for younger kids, all kids really, but I think elementary kids really enjoy it. And so part of my advertising is going to be like, you've been trapped inside your house for the last month with 0-degree weather. Like, come see the Harlem Wizards. It's pretty low cost and super fun. And you get to see a lot of our teachers and administrators, minus yours truly, play. So that's really cool. And I also just want to say briefly, this wasn't part of the formal board meeting, but we had some of the students, the Seal of Civic Readiness students, present their projects to some of the board members. It was just really great to hear that. Our student advisors to the board have really been giving us great feedback over the course of this year. We've had student advisors to the board for the last 8 years, and before the state required that we have it. All that being said, like, capturing student voice, communicating with our students, having two-way conversations with our students is something that we really value. Last Friday, I don't have the exact number. I think it was around 150 of our students participated in a walkout. It was communicated to some level with the high school administration. I think we're really lucky to have high school administrators that dialogue and discuss with our students. And have conversations with them. It was great to know at least a little bit in advance. High school staff, I think, worked with the situation really well, as did our security staff and all that. And the students really, I think, I don't know the right word, handled isn't the right word, but the students really dealt with the situation well too. And so, I've been seeing in the news that, not that we started it, but that there's been some of these walkout type things in a lot of other high schools across the country and in our more specific Hudson Valley area. I think for us, our bedrock principle through this is that we're just always going to be talking with our students and finding out both what's on their mind, trying to find various ways that they can have their free speech rights and express them. And so I just, I don't have anything deep to say this late at night, but I just want to, the whole high school community, I think really kind of worked through that last Friday really well. And just want to acknowledge that, both with communication on a sort of one-to-one group level and also through emails and stuff like that. So just a huge thank you to everyone at the high school for working through that last week. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, moving on to board comments. Catherine, you want to start?
Yeah, I have only gratitude for the very carefully prepared and deeply informative presentations from tonight. And that's it.
Semra?
Thanks, and otherwise no comment.
Yeah, I appreciate the presentations. I think the videos give a really nice touch. I thought the Unified Athletics video was especially moving there and helped to give some insight for me. I know it's late, so I don't want to talk about this necessarily right now, but I want to talk about talking about it. We brought up the size of the board a little while ago and haven't talked about it since then. I think we wanted to see how 7 felt. And I know that the elections are coming up again. And to me, I think we should find a time to figure out if 9 is the right size we want to stick with and what that means in terms of recruiting a diverse and well-functioning board, or if there's reason to shrink. I, for one, have found the 7-person board to be really a productive size, with still a lot of diversity of viewpoints, but also quite manageable. So I know that's a complicated thing that would that there are a lot of things that we would need to figure out, even if we knew which direction we wanted to go. But I'm just hoping that we can talk about that soon before it gets too late.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is something we could add to an agenda. When do you?
Next, the February 19th is one school's presentation. The tax cap and pre-K presentations will not be long. We originally thought we were going to have athletics on the 19th, but there's a game that he needed to be at. So there's more time on the 19th.
Okay.
If you wanted to do it at the next one. That's all.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Or,
Like, we had two really super informative, long-ish presentations tonight. That won't be the same thing on next Thursday.
Do we know what the deadline is if we were to try to get it on this ballot?
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
like a matter of days or weeks?
Isn't it 60 days before the election?
40, I think 45. I can let you know tomorrow for sure, but I have to publish. My first publication will be in April. Beginning April has to run 4 consecutive weeks in the paper, and that will be part of my legal notice.
Was that it?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, Lavelle?
I just want to say I was very appreciative of the presentations tonight. I felt like they contained a lot of info, and I look forward to the continuing progress in athletics and at JV Forstall.
Eric?
Yeah, thanks for the presentations. On the note of 7 board members, I don't know if I'm going to be here on the 19th. I've got some work things next week, so I'll let you know. But on that note, I don't know if I can't make the 18th either for the audit. So,
Okay.
but I'll let you know.
Yeah, just let us-
We did have a facilities meeting tonight. It was very productive. They basically went through the work that has started and will continue this summer with a lot of the focus on our secure entryways. Very detailed, very thought out. We'll be meeting probably in another month or two, I think, with an update. But things are progressing. I know Matt's going to send something out sometime or other to the community about some of the things that are happening, but I really felt like the work is moving along very nicely and progressing well. That's it for me.
Thank you. Meredith? There are, great presentations tonight, and I really liked the Seal of Civic Readiness presentations. I think there's some great ideas I hope we can implement there. And the presentations were great, and there are 4 policies on for first read tonight from our last policy meeting, and we're supposed to have another policy meeting before the February 19th meeting, which if we're going to do that, we should probably pick some policies to.
When were we having that?
5:30?
For the 5:30 at.
Oh.
On 19th.
Got it, right. Okay.
We can connect tomorrow.
Yep.
And see. That seems like a good idea.
Okay.
That's all for me.
And I haven't nailed down potential dates for the public relations advocacy with the website person.
Okay.
So I will get those.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, just let me know. Okay, so I also wanted to commend the students on their Seal of Civic Readiness presentations. With that, plus the walkout at the high school, and we started organizing through Assemblymember Jacobson's office, the Beacon High School student visit to the state capitol in Albany. I'm just really excited to see how engaged our students are in being like citizens, and their brains are way more like online to like and to being civic minded than I was at their age, and it's just really impressive to see. And I also wanted to plug the Harlem Wizards. I took my kids there once, and they had the best time. They loved seeing their teachers and other staff playing basketball. They just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I did want to mention the Capitol Conference really quickly. There were some interesting things that came out of that. They did talk about the budget. They noted that both of the one House budgets, and those are the budgets that come from the legislature in response to the governor's proposed budget, and they will probably have at least a 2% increase in those budgets. It's kind of just the way it goes. But their big point of advocacy was around changes to the formula. Like, it's another year, and it's kind of like this big report happened, but there's really not much happening in the way of making these changes. And so that's sort of a big point of advocacy that they're talking about, like district-specific modeling based on the recommendations from the big report that came out, and establishing a permanent foundation aid review commission to regularly reevaluate the cost drivers, the student needs, and the regional factors. That this needs to be like just a regular part of the budget process, and it's missing. Another big thing that they talked about was the zero emission buses, and that's another sort of looming thing for every district, and that's another point of advocacy. A couple of the other ones were civil service reform and raising undesignated fund balance limit, which seems to, be a perennial point of advocacy every year. One, I don't know if you would call it a positive note, but a relief was that the federal budget, especially around Title I and IDA, like initially they had, there had been proposals at the federal level to basically just cut everything. And it ended up, they both got a $20 million increase. And even though that's not a huge amount of money, it's still way, way better than where the proposal started. So that was good to hear. There were other things. If anybody's interested in any more detail, let me know and I can email you my notes. But those were really the big takeaways in terms of when we have our PRAL meeting and if we're thinking about things that we want to talk about around advocacy. I think those were the big highlights. So that is all from me. On to the consent agenda. The use of the consent agenda permits the Board of Education to make more effective use of its time by adopting a single motion to cover those relatively routine matters which are included. Any member of the board who wishes to discuss individually a particular piece of business on the consent agenda may so indicate, and that item will be considered and voted on separately, thus preserving the right of all board members to be heard on any issue. Are there any items that any board members would like to have removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve 12.01 through 16.05?
So moved.
Second by Meredith. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 7-0. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Hold on. Second by Semra. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 7-0.